everyone, and welcome to Kayla's Kitchen. Today we are doing something incredibly exciting. We are going to be doing something that I've done once before on the channel, but we're doing it a little bit differently. So what are we doing today? We are going to be doing a battle of the teas. So what a battle of the teas is that I steep up different brands of the same kind or like variety or type of tea and do a taste comparison of them. A little while ago, I did one of comparing a couple of different kinds of Earl Greys from Hardy & Sons. Today, I'm doing 3 different kinds of like those nutty, cinnamony herbal teas, like Forever Nuts. So basically, there's not like a name for this category of tea, but what I'm steeping. So the 3 teas I'm going to be trying today are Forever Nuts from David's Tea, Cottage Nights from Tea by Daniel, and Nutty Almond Cream from Tiesta Tea. So what we're gonna do? Okay, so I'm gonna try each one 2 ways. So I'm going to try each one hot, steeped in water for just 5 minutes, typical like herbal tea preparation. And then I'm also going to try each one as an iced latte. The only one of these teas that I've actually ever had before is Tiesta Tea's Nutty Almond Cream. And every time I had it, I always preferred it best as an iced latte. So that's why I'm gonna do this, like, we're gonna try it hot, but also we're gonna try them all as iced lattes, because I know that I'm more inclined to like that. So I'm gonna be more inclined to like these other 2 teas in this variety, in this preparation, I guess. I don't know, that's the thought process. We'll see what happens. So let's get started with the first one. All right, so the first tea that we are going to be starting out with is Forever Nuts from David's Tea. Now, David's Tea says about this tea, "You'll go nuts for this herbal tea. With its crunchy almond slices, sweet apple bits, and cinnamon bark, this tempting caffeine-free infusion turns a crazy shade of pink when steeped. Why? Because of its hint of earthy beetroot. Deliciously nutty, decidedly addictive, it's one of our all-time best-selling blends." And that is true. This is one of David's Tea's top-selling blends and has been pretty much ever since they got started. All right, so all I have of this tea is just this tiny little heart-shaped tin that I got in the summer semi-annual sale. But as for the smell, it smells amazing. I mean, what do you expect? It's basically just apple and almonds and cinnamon, so of course it's gonna taste good or smell good. Was that prophetic? But this smells absolutely amazing. It just has a bright punch of cinnamon in the forefront of it, and then you get that like sweet appley nutty smell. It really does smell like an apple cobbler. So my tea has been steeping for 5 minutes, and let's give it a taste. Or a sniff first, maybe, who knows. It smells very similar to the loose leaf tea. Mostly you're getting that cinnamon in the forefront and then some appley nutty sweetness. It's definitely not as strong as I would like. I would definitely have to steep this for longer to get it to a strength that I would like, but it's sort of the reverse, which is kind of funny because you're starting off with that appley nutty sweetness and then melting into a nice warm cinnamon flavor. It's not necessarily my favorite flavor, just like plain hot, although I could see it being really nice on like a cool fall evening, steeped a little bit stronger. Next up, we have Cottage Night from Tea by Daniel. Now, I was looking at their website and it does look like, unfortunately, in their transition from like their old imagery to their new imagery, I don't think that they sell this specific blend anymore. I could be wrong about that, but I didn't see it anywhere on the website and I searched for it and it said that the product wasn't found. So I don't think that they sell it anymore, but that's not important. Let's get into the description. So they say, "I am a caffeine-free dessert in your cup, made of apple pieces, beets, cinnamon, and almonds to help to build your iron and keep you warm on those chilly cottage nights too." All right, we're gonna give this tea a sniff. I think that the Tea by Daniel blend is a little bit more prevalent with that apple scent versus the Forever Nuts blend is definitely the cinnamon is the star of that smell. Just like the loose leaf tea, I think that the steeped tea smells much more appley and nutty than necessarily cinnamony. Yeah, I'm getting a much more strong particularly the apple coming through. And that's pretty much the same for the sip. This one is definitely a lot stronger than Forever Nuts, but they were steeped at the same time. You get a bright punch of apple accompanied by some like nutty cinnamoniness. That's divine. This is very good. But we have one more tea to try, and we have to try all of them as iced lattes as well, so let's get on to the next one. All right, and the last tea we are looking at today is Nutty Almond Cream from Tiesta tea. About this flavor, they say, the best flavors of fall, all brewed into one cup with its bright pink flavor and tantalizing cinnamon apple aroma. Now, this one, this is kind of funny. The most prevalent thing in this one, to me, is the almonds. So each one has, in its smell, something that is the most prevalent. And it's each different. So here it is, all steeped up. And the almond flavor is still pretty prevalent, but everything is a little bit more dull, not quite as vibrant. And it's the same in the flavor. Yeah, the first thing that I'm really getting is some almond, followed by, so that's like cinnamon apple in there. This one, I have had this one before. This is the only one that prior to today I had tried before. And I think having tried both of the other ones, the thing that I don't like about this one hot is that it's not very naturally sweet, right? So the apple is kind of the last thing I'm getting in there, and it's not adding any natural sweetness to the cup. So it's much more almond and cinnamon and not very like sweet apple. So I started steeping all of these teas hours ago, and I put them to steep with 2 perfect spoons of tea to half a cup of water, and I've let that steep for about 7 hours now. So let's try some iced lattes. So first up we have Forever Nuts, and I have some milk in here and I'm going to pour it on top. I can definitely see why this tea is like so well loved in the David's tea community. It's sweet, it's nutty, it's cinnamony, it's amazing. Here we have Cottage Nights. This one, I actually don't like it. I've lost in steeping it for so long. I don't know how this happened. It's like lost its cinnamon and almond flavor. So I really am just tasting apple. Well, I shouldn't say lost. It's still there. They're just so outsung by the apple that's like pretty much all I'm tasting. Now, lastly, we have Nutty Almond Cream. This one is also very good. You get that nutty cinnamonness followed by some sweetness from the apple. Alrighty folks, I've made a decision. Let's get to my final thoughts.
It's every tea for themselves. This trio has battled hard to the very last sip. Who will emerge victorious?
Okay, so for my final thoughts, let's talk about each tea individually. First, we have Forever Nuts from David's tea. This tea, the star was cinnamon all the way through. In the hot tea and in the iced latte, the main element was the cinnamon. Next, we have Cottage Nights from Tea by Daniel. This tea, the star was the apple. It was wonderfully naturally sweet. You definitely didn't need to add any external sweetener. And lastly, we have Nutty Almond Cream from Tiesta tea. And this one, the star was definitely the nuts. It was far more nutty than the other 2 teas and not nearly as sweet. That cinnamon was still in there to provide some extra flavor. In terms of the hot teas, the clear winner to me is Cottage Night by Tea by Daniel. When it's steeped hot, it is so warming and comforting. You just want to like curl up on the couch with a blanket and a good book and just stay there forever. I love that. But the story changes quite a lot when we get to iced lattes. I definitely liked the Forever Nuts as the iced latte better than the other two teas. It is sweet, it is nutty, and it is cinnamony, and it's everything that you want in a nice iced latte. It tastes so good. It's just like a great delectable treat. Now, which one would I choose as my, like, if I could choose between having the Forever Nuts as an iced latte or Cottage Nights as a hot tea, which one would I pick? And it just depends. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day, if I want something iced, if I want something hot. So the winners are Cottage Night and Forever Nuts. So that's all for this episode of Kayla's Kitchen. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe down below if you aren't already. I post new videos every once in a while, maybe once a week, maybe not, who knows. But I post about tea and baking and wonderful things, and you should be subscribed so that you can see all the latest videos that I post. But that is all for now, so as always, happy sipping.